Yeah, hello. Today we have a really special episode of Cappuccino with HR. So we are in Stuttgart today, Ivana and me. We are at Daimler Trucks and we are doing the recording not in our studio and not in a meeting room. We are doing it really in this wonderful truck behind us. The amazing American truck. It's really special, and I have a special guest today as well. It's Jürgen Hartwig, and he is the CHRO and member of the board of Daimler Trucks. So I'm really looking forward to the episode. So stay tuned. Yeah, hello and welcome to another episode of Cappuccino with HR. And today it's a really special occasion. We are today at Daimler Truck in Stuttgart, and we are not recording in our studio. We're not recording in a meeting room. We are recording in a really nice American truck. It's a really huge thing. I've never seen such a big truck, honestly. And today my guest is, and I'm really delighted because it took us some time of preparation because his calendar is really full, and we'll talk about that as well. And I'm really happy that I have the chance to talk to Jürgen Hartwig. He's the CHRO and member of the board of Daimler Truck. So Jürgen, thank you very much for taking your time, and welcome at Cappuccino with HR.
Yeah, really wonderful. And we talked already earlier today. You texted me in September. I saw it's a great format, and then I checked several of your former podcasts, and then I said, yeah, that's wonderful. Let's do a podcast also. And then we discussed when we are at Daimler Trucks, we are producing these wonderful products.
Yeah.
Let's do it here.
Yeah, and that's really amazing. I mean, it's like a child's dream. So boys dreaming of being a truck driver. So it was on my list as well, I think.
Really good news. We are producing so much you can even buy them.
Okay, wonderful. That's even the best. And I think we also found a really nice topic. And we are talking about and you brought up the title, and I really love it. You said, is it really the time to change from dealing with the or to dealing with the end? And it sounds a little bit mystic in the beginning, but honestly, as I thought about what's behind it, I think that you are 100% right, and it's really important. We are coming to that later on. I just want to ask you to quickly introduce yourself.
Yeah, Rudi. Jürgen Hartwig, member of the board of Daimler Truck, CHRO. 33 years within the company, which is difficult to explain exactly because as an independent company, we're just 4 years old. Mm-hmm. I'm always saying we are the oldest and the youngest truck company in the world, because the oldest because we invented the truck, and the youngest because we are publicly listed in 4 years. Mm-hmm. And it's a huge privilege to be part of this team, part of the team that is producing these wonderful products, but also being part of a real global team with 105,000 people. And it's amazing to be the head of HR.
Can you quickly explain in how many countries the teams are spread out? Where the people that
some key figures. We have people from 132 different countries. We are located in more than 50 countries. We have huge facilities. When we talk about footprint, biggest amount of people we have in Germany, US, then Mexico, Turkey, Japan, Brazil, and then a lot of other countries also. Mm-hmm. And India, by the way, where I was last week.
Yeah. So we are bringing our conference to India this year, the first time, and we are really looking forward to that, because I think it's from the cultural perspective, it's totally different. It's I think we can learn a lot, and we will definitely have some really nice surprises there as well. I always ask this question because it's called Cappuccino with HR. And what's your favorite coffee? Are you drinking coffee?
Yeah, really. Last week I gave you a call and told you we probably have to cancel our podcast, because when I heard the other podcast, I always heard this question. I don't drink coffee at all. If I need coffee, I drink some Coca-Cola.
Okay.
But coffee, for whatever reason, the whole family is drinking coffee. You're not.
Okay. I can live with that. So let's step into it. And the interesting perspective that you brought is exchanging the or by the end. What does it mean for you, or what do you see is the change, and why?
Yeah, really. When we talked first about a podcast, I thought about what is the topic we want to talk about, and we can have endless discussions about the daily content we are doing, and maybe we touch some of these topics later on. But what I'm observing in the society, in our company at least, but also within HR, that the way we discuss the topics is not helpful anymore. And it's more and more always or. Also on the political side, on the society side, you support one political party or you are completely against it. The same is how you deal with refugees on the European side. Within companies, is it shareholder orientation or is it employee orientation? And we have so much ors where I have the impression it's not helping anymore to solve the problems of companies, society maybe also, which is not our main topic probably today, but also within HR. And then we are in a situation where you're debating but not solution oriented. And that's the reason why I thought, hey, we can talk about leadership and leadership styles and remuneration and HRIT and AI and all these other stuff. But it's maybe also interesting, I don't know, for some of the people who are listening or watching us to think about what is our role today, which is a different aspect than just purely what are we doing on the content side, which is also super interesting. So I thought it's maybe interesting to talk more about who we are, why, and how can we solve the problems of these days.
And how are you explaining, I mean, you lead a really big team, and I mean, I think you mentioned only in your team, in your direct team, it's more than 2,000 people. How do you explain it to the people? Because I mean, we are used to say either or. I mean, I think it's a mentality, it's a cultural thing. It's driven by all the parties out there as well. I think so. So we are used to it. How to explain it to your leaders in your teams that shareholder expectations could be managed together with employee expectations?
I believe, first of all, what's super important is that you explain as good as possible. Now I have to be careful that I'm not ending in purely buzzwords. It's all about leadership and communication. That's true for everything. But let's be a little bit more concrete and precise. When we discuss, and a lot of European companies, especially in industrial business, have huge headcount reduction programs, have huge cost reduction programs. Why this is important? Not to destroy the future, to generate the future. Why we are doing this and doing some other stuff. And the only way to deal with this is trying to explain. And then you have a certain group of people who anyway have so strong opinions that you probably don't reach them. But a lot of other people that are listening, you will not solve it in a way. It will not disappear. So you can only explain the different perspectives and then take conscious decisions for the one way, the other way, or a combined way.
And how important is it to explain it in detail or to take the people at their hands to bring them to this point?
The key principles, why it is important, for example, example on our company, to have these kind of savings, to have more money for the future. Explain it, I would say, not in a detail that makes it more complicated and high sophisticated, but try to explain it in a way that people can understand what it means. At least come to a certain degree on a commitment, yes, the way is the right one. It's a complete different question when you discuss with the people what it means for me.
Yeah, of course.
This is a different exercise, but at least to understand why the company or why we are doing some kind of actions or taking decisions.
And now AI coming into our lives. I mean, the nicest sentence that I heard about AI was coming from Lufthansa at our conference a couple of months ago in Berlin, where one of the HR ladies from Lufthansa said, she was asked the question, how do you use AI within Lufthansa? And she said, we try to create more human moments. We try to use AI to create more human moments. And I really love this one.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, a good one. I haven't heard it, but I have to get in touch with the colleague. The competition is really hard in our industry, in a lot of other industries also. And it's an international competition. A lot of new players are coming into the game, especially in our business. Chinese companies are coming into the game, and the competition will get harder and harder. This has a lot of consequences for HR. One consequence, and maybe we talk about it later, is what we have to execute within the companies. The second consequence is that there will be also tough targets for the HR departments.
Yeah.
And I believe a lot of the colleagues who are online have similar situation. If you make an assessment about the capacity you are using, at least on our end, there is still a huge portion that is doing transactional HR activities. And I'm not saying that is not important, and these are great colleagues who are doing this, but there is still a lot of very transactional stuff, forms, documents, handling of applications, dealing with applications, preparing contracts, and I could
continue endlessly.
And we have a huge amount of people. And if you also have limited budgets and resources for HR, which is part of the game, then you have to think about how you use it. And now I try to translate what a colleague said, even I don't know her. It's basically you have to be absolutely optimized in these kind of topics that you can use the resources to create the human moments and the interaction, because AI will probably not make your compensation system. AI will probably not will do the development talk, even Avatar could do it.
Of course.
And we know that, by the way, AI can already do coaching. I still believe human coaches may be slightly better than the other ones. So I would completely agree, because if I have to also in HR I have to reduce headcount, I have to be more efficient, then I have to use AI that I can use the resources for exactly these human touch points. So I would completely agree.
So honestly, I see it as well. So what I really see is that it needs to be an end. So it needs to be human and AI. So it's not either or. It never was for me. But honestly, I think it won't be. So honestly, I think it will end up with an end. But we need to find a way how to combine it in the most clever way. You mentioned that the role of HR needs to change. How do you see the near future or the upcoming future for HR? What will be the roles? What will disappear completely? Probably. I mean, the transactional part, you already mentioned that, but not from the daily tasks point of view, but more from the mindset point of view.
We started with the headline. It's more the end instead of the or. Also on our side, it's handling much more ends. And all ends up with our employees, with the unions, with the workers' council. And then we have to handle this as an interface to the leaders, as an interface to the unions, to the workers' council, to our employees. So what's changing? We have to manage these kind of dilemmas. Do we now have a war for talent, or do we have too much people? Do we have to invest in a young generation who is only discussing about life balance and I don't know, kindergartens and stuff like this, or do we have to reduce headcounts, or do we have to do trainings, or do we have to save costs? Do we have to create human interactions that people come together, or do we stop all kind of flights and we do all virtually? And so HR plays a major role in handling this, because a lot of people are asking for clear answers where there are no clear answers. And this is then something, because we are actually also in a headcount reduction program. And the question I get the most from the affected people, please tell me exactly if I'm affected or not.
Of course.
And the answer is, I don't know yet. We have to find out, And all these questions are coming now to the own team, to the HR team, who, by the way, is living in the same situation, because we also have tough targets. We're also dealing with, is AI doing my job
tomorrow
or not? And this is something where I believe this is a much more challenging role for HR than the purely stuff that has to be done. The basics remains the same. Hiring people, paying people, developing people, onboard them, exit them, train them at some point of time, and for some of the HR functions even take care that they get something to eat, that they are safe, and all this kind of stuff. This will remain, but here the portions will be different than was than it was, I would say, in the past.
But for me, that sounds a little bit that ambiguity becomes a kind of handling this right becomes one of the major leader skills in the near future or already now, right?
I would completely agree. Huh? Udi, when we look back, and we are now almost in the same age, we've seen the last 30 years in management development and in hot topics and warm topics and sometimes super hot topics. 10, 15 years ago, everybody talked about VUCA.
Right.
This was all over the place.
This was all over the place.
If I compare the situation 25 with the VUCA situations we had 2015, 2015 was absolutely kindergarten.
Yeah.
Now, and a lot of political impacts. We can talk about tariffs in the US. You don't know how the business looks like. 4 or 5 years ago, I thought we were pretty clear how the technological future of our industry looks like when it comes to electrification. End of 25, it's
totally different.
5 years ago, I would have said 25, we know the path.
Yeah.
End of 25, I tell you,
no idea.
Not no idea, but different ideas,
Yes,
which, by the way, makes it not easy for companies, because the more technologies you have to provide and to support, the more funding you need, which is super challenging. But this is a different topic.
And if you have a look, I mean, you are in many countries, and do you see kind of mentality differences within other countries where, say, it's easier in some regions to implement this kind of mindset shift than in others?
Yeah, super good question, but also a sensitive one, because whatever you say, you have to be careful whom you are harming. First of all, and I mean it really serious. We have great people all around the globe.
That's really.
And the key question is, how do we combine the different strengths we're having around the globe to get the maximum output? And this is what I really believe. But for sure, you see a lot of differences. And now the easier part, starting when you talk about age structures and qualification. Last week or the week before was in India. We talked about India before. The average age is 15 years younger than in Germany. And also in Japan, by the way. This is a different generation, I would say. Then for sure, at least let's take Germany as an example, knowing that a lot of people have a lot of difficulties, in principle, it's a rich country. There's a lot of welfare created over the last 5 or 6 decades with a lot of motivation, with a lot of power, with German engineering, with these typical German kind of attributes, like being bold, being engineer-driven. There we have to check if we are still there. But what we also see is that we have a lot of countries where you see, and now I'm only talking about our employees, a young generation coming in super motivated, less discussions also about work-life balance, less discussions, it's coming up everywhere. So I'm not saying good or bad, but I'm saying you feel in societies like, for example, India, maybe also now in Turkey, Mexico, where we have a younger population in our companies, and the willingness to increase their own welfare, by the way, also sometimes income, is maybe a little bit stronger than here. And from a German perspective, there is a huge debate. Again, and or. It's not, when you're criticizing here something, then you're always doing German bashing. And if you say, hey, where's the problem? Then you are supposed to be one who's ignoring challenges.
There's
again,
no way. You can't do it right.
Again, it's you have to be proud what you have reached. But you have to challenge yourself. And my own belief is that it's not so much that everything got worse here. But what I see, and you talked about different countries, and my observation is that a lot of other countries have catched up, or sometimes even have overtaken, which is a different perspective. It's not always this negative here, now it's all bad.
No.
But we are in an international competition.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for me, as a head of HR of a global company, for sure, I'm supporting all the different regions. It's not that I like this or more, but from a purely German perspective, we have to admit that a lot of other countries and other entities in our business have extremely catched up or even overtaken.
Do you see one skill that you could probably put in place which underlines this kind of some regions are better in catching up to the future needs? I mean, I normally use curiosity because I think sometimes I have the impression that, or the feeling that we have lost the curiosity, this kind of childish curiosity to really try new things. I mean, when I remember the first contact that I had with ChatGPT and OpenAI was a panel discussion of 4 university professors in Austria sitting on a panel and discussing what could be done to really get this from the table again, because you are able to really fake bachelor works and bachelor papers.
Again, I have to be careful that I'm not stepping into stereotypes.
Yeah, of course.
But what I observe is, and I don't know if this is maybe also sometimes a little bit mentality, and I lived several years in China. When I'm in China, in India, when you discuss there about AI, you basically discuss about opportunities.
Yeah.
Here, you sometimes also talk a little bit about risks. So this is a huge difference. You call it curiosity, this willingness to explore what's possible. Let's use it. And I see this in parts of our company a little bit more than here. But we also have here great people. I also have wonderful people. But I would say, in average, the openness, if you talk about, for example, China and India, when it comes to AI, is bigger than here. Here, it's sometimes also fear-driven, but it's not only AI. For sure, when you have reached a certain level of welfare, and everybody is discussing that the future is a little bit worse than what you have today,
of course,
then relative life is getting harder. Even absolute, it's still on a very high level. Yeah. And then you automatically try to think about how could I maintain it.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm more than convinced that the strategy, then you have to protect everything you have, and automatically you maintain what you have, is the absolutely wrong strategy. You have to be strong in reinventing yourself all the time, because if you don't do it here, others will do it. And again, it's also here, it's
of course.
You have to be aware of the risks, but you have to utilize it as much as possible. And you have to be curious, you have to be open-minded, for sure. And it's not about age. You have open-minded people that are 95, and you probably have not open-minded people that are 15.
Yeah.
But in general, at least, and you are so much connected to this kind of community. For sure, at least we are not belonging to a generation that grew up with this. So we have to open our minds maybe much more than people who grew up with all kind of devices and sorts already. And so automatically, when you have a population which has reached a certain level, has a fear that it's getting worse, and has reached a certain maturity of life or of age, maybe has to think or is thinking differently about stuff than the 22-year-old fresh graduate in Bangalore.
Yeah. do we sometimes have to put ourselves in front of a mirror and remember ourselves how privileged we already are?
I definitely would agree. First, secondly, that it's not a given. There is no automatism, that it remains. Coming back to HR work, which by the way means that, again, it's not protecting or taking out people or doing this. It's both. You have to optimize to create the future. It's again more an end instead of an or. And first of all, yes, we have to be aware how privileged we are, at least the most of us. Not everyone. We also have in our society a lot of people with a lot of challenges.
Yeah, of course.
I completely take this. But we also have to be aware that it's not a given. And when I give speeches, I normally start with the sentence, the welfare is at the end a result of somehow performance and competition. And by the way, the welfare here is based on performance and competition over the last 50 years. So we should not be angry about it because it created
the situation
we are in. So we should be happy. But this also means that it could also end up differently. So it's not a given. The fighting spirit, these energy level, we have to remain. And I'm not saying that we are lazy now. Absolutely not. You will never see me complaining about my own people. But I have to admit that there is no automatism, because at the end it's about individual or joint intelligence. It's about resources and about motivation. And when you are not more motivated than anyone else, if you don't have the lucky situation that you have natural resources like in the past, oil, gas, whatever, or cheap energy, and you are not more intelligent than anyone else, then there are not so much reasons that it automatically stays like it is and you are ahead. So therefore, I would love to see this kind of fighting spirit, the joy of also performing. I have a lot of discussions with my team, and even on my side, I'm not only talking about others, is, do I have to do something or am I allowed to do? And a lot of the topics we have to solve as HR. You can easily debate, you have to implement AI. Or you are allowed to use different technologies to have a better job. Yes, you have to create a new performance management system. You are allowed to create a performance management system that's relevant for 100,000 people. And for sure, when the workload is pretty high and you don't know and you are tired, then it feels quite often you have to. But as you said before, and it starts with me, most of the time is we are allowed to participate in these kind of questions, and we are the author of the future,
of course,
and not the victim.
Not the follower. I mean that. I think that what would be my next question. I mean, you are with Daimler since 1993, if I remember right. What has changed, or how has the HR role changed in these decades, and what do you see comes next? I mean, you mentioned that I see that my personal take is that the importance of HR is extremely rising. So because I think we are bringing in the people, so we are bringing in the mindsets, we are bringing in the culture into the organization. We need to keep the people motivated in a way that they're willing to learn their entire lives, because I think that stays important, and probably it always was important. So how has it changed, or what are the major changes that you experience?
Really a good one, and probably also the answer could be a long one, so I try to keep it rather short. First of all, again, not on a no-brainer level, early 90s, You applied with paper. When you, where I started, and as a newcomer in the early 90s, you went into an HR office. There was a desk, and then you had to wait. And by the way, the HR person was standing here, and you had to wait here. Then they told you what to do, and very formal processes, very, and everybody was standing there and saying thank you. Changed completely. So technology-wise, you can't compare the way how we are doing. Also, it's this is one aspect, which is not. This is, by the way, true not only for HR. You can do it also in engineering and production. The second thing is. Already at this point of time, the portion of admin stuff was pretty high, but targets, you will see all HR organizations today much leaner than 25, 30 years ago, which means that you have to think much more how to optimize your processes than it was necessary at this point of times, with technology, also without technology. Then I give you another example. Daimler, a proud company, war for talents. In the 90s, when Daimler posted something at this point of time in newspapers, I was from 95 onwards part of a plant which was a greenfield. There we had to ramp up our people. We had 25,000 applications within 4 weeks. So the HR function at this point of time, it was the easiest, the recruiting team was the easiest job in the world, at least in the Daimler world. Because basically when you posted something, you had so much applications that you normally had a situation that it was basically impossible to make a mistake because the best 20 people were all great. We are sitting here in this truck, and I told you before that I purely did it for the podcast, which is not completely true. Because tomorrow we have our recruiting day for the trainee processes, and exactly here we will do the interviews.
Yeah, really cool.
And we have prepared some stuff because for the best candidates, they have the choice where they want to start. So for sure they are applying, and we still get a lot of good applications. But there we're in a situation that basically we convince them tomorrow to join us. Now I'm talking about the top end. Has changed completely. And then, as I said, especially when it comes to tough targets, to competition, the role of HR in executing these kind of topics is much harder today than it was 20 or 30 years ago. So just some aspects, some basic principles, develop people to support, to bring the right people at the right point of time. This is something that remains. What's more important today than it was 20 years ago, and again, no buzzwords, but we talked so much about technological changes, AI and other stuff. The qualification we had in the 90s remain much longer valid than it is today. So we call it strategic resource management. Really think about what kind of qualification skills, type of people do we need tomorrow, and what do we have today. This was in the 90s. Yes, we thought about it, a little bit action learning, all good. But really thinking about, well, what is needed in 10 years from now? What do we have? What do we have to hire? What do we have to train? This is nowadays much more important than it was before, especially with a generation that is looking also for purpose and not only money.
I was using a term at the speech in Amsterdam a couple of weeks ago where I said, okay, probably talent acquisition needs to be renamed into talent architects. How do you see that one? So as you mentioned, we have the skill sets where I think they're changing. So we need to really think about skills. We need to really think about matching skills to the right positions. It's really building kind of structures like architects. And I never liked the term acquisition, because acquisition for me always had this kind of purchasing mindset. So I replaced the A by from acquisition to architect.
Yeah, it's a good one. To be very honest, I've never thought about it, because when I discuss with my wife about other topics, I always said, you are much better in German and in wording than I am.
Yeah.
Because for me, talent acquisition was a given. So I never thought about if it's the right wording. I will think about it when we meet,
That's very cool.
when
Yeah,
we
when
meet
we
each other next time. I'll give you
an answer on it. Yeah.
an answer on it. But
I mean,
on a content side, I will give you two answers, not about the wording. The first thing is the way you find the best people is a completely different one before, which means you need to have a much more active role than in the past.
Yeah.
And if you call it acquisition, I have to think about. And the second thing is, at least for big companies like our ones, it's definitely not in a way, okay, technology is changing. Let's take concrete example. Yeah? Now, even with some changes, some years ago we thought no more ICE engine anymore. You don't need a diesel engine anymore. And by the way, nobody studied it anymore.
Yeah, of course.
And everything has to be with batteries and fuel cells. No company in the world, at least not our ones, we don't want, but it's also not possible, is saying, hey, you have 3,000 diesel engineers, you fire all of them, and you hire 3,000 battery engineers, which means, and this is now probably your architect question, but you still need different skill sets.
Of course.
And as you don't fire these ones, and you don't hire these ones, to manage this transition is much more important than in the past, because it's also changing much faster. For sure, there was always a development also in ICE engine and other technologies. It's not the first time that we have some kind of disruption. But with the magnitude and the speed we are seeing today, it's a different one. So probably the second learning today is that I think about. Here, very likely, if I thought about it, is it's again not or. It's and. Because you need people who probably even acquire people.
Good one.
And
fair
and you have to be an architect how you transfer the existing ones again into the future.
A really fair comment. And another topic that really we have not spoken about that, I think, but it really drives me personally, and I'm using it quite often on stage at the moment, because I really personally think it's probably, I'm totally wrong with it, but I personally think it's extremely important. I think we need to balance a triangle which needs to understand business, of course, which needs to understand profitability and growth, which needs to understand all the economic circumstances. On the other hand, I think it needs to really understand technology, and the third thing, it needs to understand humans. And I mean, I was working for corporates for many, many years, and I sometimes had this kind of feeling that we are well managing three silos. So we have a kind of a technical department which is really good in managing themselves. We have it on C-level, of course, and we have it on CHRO or on humans level as well. How good is the collaboration within your company if it comes to really putting all these three aspects in top management from your perspective?
First of all, I would completely agree with your concept, because when I'm giving speeches or drawing pictures, I always also use a triangle. Slightly differences. I normally have in one corner, I have product, customer, and there also the technology. One corner is capital market and finance, and the third corner is people. And I'm convinced that, like, if it's a chair with these three different, I don't know the English word, these three legs. If you have a chair with three and you take out one, you will fall down.
I mean, we have the cameras here on tripods, so if you remove one,
we can try it out. This would be a nice exercise, but I don't know how expensive your equipment is. So the first thing what I'm normally doing is explaining, hey, it's wonderful. We have the right products. The customer loves us. We are earning good money, but the people hate us. They disappear. We have to train them all the time. We will end nowhere. If we have great people, they are happy. Financials are okay, but the customers don't believe in the future of our products.
Same problem.
At some point of time, also gone. And if we have customers who loves our products, we have great motivated people, but earning no money. It's also not working in at least in a capitalistic environment. So basically, you really have to take care of all these aspects. And the honest answer is, we try, at least in the board and below, we try to balance this out. Also, by the way, I would say if you have just 2 out of the 3, you will fall down. But it doesn't mean automatically that all 3 of them has to be exactly the same length at the same point of time. Because for sure, we are in a situation, we are now 4 years a listed company. For sure, the capital market is extremely observing if we deliver our promises. And for sure, there is, I would not say pressure, I would phrase it more positive. There are expectations we have to fulfill, and I'm fully committed. And there, by the way, when we talk about role of HR, it doesn't help that I say, hey, from an HR perspective, we should not do it. In the end, we are one company. We are not HR, we are not finance, we are not sales or engineering. There is only one P&L, there is only one success, there are only one group of people. So for sure, you have your specific kind of knowledge and view. But in the end, it's about joint decisions that have to reflect all these aspects. And I can't say, but from an HR standpoint, it's not helping.
I think this really brings us back to the very beginning of the talk, where we said, okay, you need to, if you are in HR, you need to explain it to all the people and all the employees that sometimes it's very necessary to take tough decisions to stay future-proof and to meet the other expectations. And I think probably that's the trick. We are coming back to the end, honestly.
Probably it's again and.
It's again
you
and
have to do all, and you have to explain it, and as already discussed before, one thing is you have to, or the other thing you are allowed to try to manage this triangle.
I mean, I always ask this question because I think we're really coming to an end. I think the time is passing by so quickly, but the wonderful thing, I hope I'm allowed to announce it, otherwise we need to cut it out later on, is that you will be with us at the We Developers World Congress 2026 in Berlin in July. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm really looking forward to have a really nice discussion or talk from you on stage. I think it's a really great opportunity for all our guests in the auditorium to see you on stage and listen to you sharing your thoughts and your massive experience. But I have a final question, which I normally raise at every Cappuccino with HR as well. If Aladdin with the magic lamp shows up now in this wonderful truck, do you have one wish which you would give him related to the discussion that we had?
It's close to Christmas. My wish is that, and this is not purely for the company, in the world that is changing with the climate change, with so much conflicts, that we as human beings learn again to discuss about different aspects. We don't have to agree on all different topics. There are different interests. But if I had one wish, that we all really understand the real problems of the future, we can only solve together. This is very, very high level. But Rudi, this is something that really touches me, because it's not only about our generation, it's also about the next generations. And close to Christmas, this would be my biggest wish.
That's a really good one. And honestly, I can nothing add to that one, because it touches my heart as well. I'm becoming grandfather, first grandchild next year. So I mean, the wish for the next generation. I think we have to really take that seriously. Jürgen, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us here in Stuttgart. Thank you for bringing this truck, especially for us. I mean, great one. And I really enjoyed the conversation. And thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you, Rudi. It was a pleasure. Thank you.